last 100 years are all related. I mean, Obama's related to all of them. I mean, it's crazy. And it's not like they're just cousins once or twice, or Bush and Kerry go to the same secret society. They were cousins on every angle. It's like if you have a French bulldog, it's related to all the other French bulldogs. They're their own psycho interbreeding program. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. It's amazing, though, that you find these families in Europe, Britain, the United States, and they're all somehow related way back when, whether it was 3 generations or a recent generation. And there's all some sort of connection, even with the George Bush family, Bush, Clinton, George H.W. Bush, and Obama. They all seem to have some relationship and some connection, either genetically or interbreeding somehow. And it's disgusting when you find out how many of them actually have the same agenda.
Oh, it's the exact same agenda, and they all go to occultic retreats. The liberals have their own Bohemian Grove. Helmut Schmidt, who was the German chancellor, wrote Men and Powers, a political retrospective, and said, yeah, we're the Illuminati. We do our own rituals at our own grove, and we are setting up to the Bilderberg Group a world government. I mean, I own the book. I did screenshots of it for my Bohemian Grove films, and he just admits the whole thing and says, we do rituals. We do druidic rituals. I appreciate your call. 60 seconds before we go to other calls on the Druid connection. I know that's big in your book.
Are you going to a caller? Or
no, I'm going to you, Fritz, because
okay.
Schmidt said they're Druids. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah. Druids is one of the lines of magic that's practiced. There's many different types of magic, but Druidism is one of the larger forms of magic. And yeah, you definitely see a lot of Druidic. We have a full-size replica of Stonehenge here in this area, and the Illuminati practice rituals secretly near that Stonehenge the monument. You know, it's actually got all of the full-scale rock pillars and everything.
Yeah, isn't Oregon one of the main monarchs mind control centers?
I don't know if it would be one of the main ones, but we've got our share of it. It seems to be that no matter where you go, you find this stuff.
Let's go to Richard in Texas. Richard, you're on the air.
Thank you for taking my call, Mr. Jones and Mr. Springmeier. I'd just like to ask you, have you guys ever heard of the Black Boule? They're the other side of the Skull and Bones. They're there to protect the white Skull and Bones. They operate out of the Greek system, the Kappa, Phi, Beta, and all the different other groups, subgroups, and they're pretty much recruited out of the top colleges and universities, black and white universities.
Yeah, I know there's all sorts of spin-offs of lodges. That's why Skull and Bones is 322. And then they'll test people at these things. They'll say, okay, now we're going to have sex with a goat, you know, as part of the ritual for the university. And you're like, well, that's gross. Well, you're not going to be in the club, because if you'll go along with this, next it's going to be people. But, yeah, let's get Fritz's comment on how all these other societies are feeders into the darker rat holes.
The Black Boule, I did write about it at one point, but what I wrote didn't get published or in print. But yes, I was aware that they have organizations for the blacks that want to participate in all of this. You're right. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
Yes, they have their own flag, their own song, and to me, they're some of the biggest sellouts because they're the ones that help keep the races separated. Because they're the ones that push the race card the most. They're the ones that, tell black.
You know, it's funny you say that, and God bless you. We're about to go to break, but call back in again. I want to hear more about that. Down at Access TV over the years, I was really friendly, really nice. That's where I started out. Immediately got a radio show about 6 months after I was doing the TV show here locally, by the grace of God. But there were these black Masons that were part of that group you're talking about, the Prince Hall, whatever. And they were always attacking me on air, saying I was a racist, and I wasn't even talking about black people on air. I mean, or if I was standing up for their liberties. And then they wouldn't even talk to me in the hall. And they would just look at me with hate. And then later I was talking to somebody that worked up there, and they said, well, that's because you're bashing the Illuminati. Don't you know both those guys are like the head people, #1 and #2 of the whole Black Mason operation in Central Texas?
Big Berkey Water.
Just a program note here. I'm going to be speaking in Orlando, Florida, because one of our great affiliates is out there, the Big 810, coming up on the 26th of February, this month. So in 24 days, I'm going to be out there. It's going to be like a 3-hour-long deal. Well, the doors are going to open. I'm going to do my radio show there, and then I'm going to give a speech. So the speech will be about an hour and a half, and I'm going to premiere a special little mini 30-minute documentary on a surprise subject. So it'll be really about 5 hours long. Now, in Dallas, I'm going to give the speech and premiere the film, and that's at the Lakewood Theater. You can buy tickets there at the Lakewood Theater website. You can find the link to that at Infowars.com/events. Now, Orlando is moving towards selling out. And I've only plugged this once, and it's already sold around 20% of the tickets. Lakewood, still a ton of tickets, but I'm going to start promoting it, and it'll go quick. That's usually what happens about a week before it sells out. I think I've had like one event before that didn't sell out, and we're charging $25, and $5-6 of that is fees and event fees and hotel fees, that kind of stuff they do in cities for events. And then I'm sharing it with some of the local affiliates as well, but mainly it's just paying our cost to go out there. I'm going to have some camera guys out there and things. It's $25. At both events, Infowars.com/events, Lakewood Theater and Orlando, Florida. And in the future, I plan to do some trips on different legs where I'll go to 5 or 6 or 7 affiliates. It's just that I'm so busy here doing the nightly news and everything else, and we're hiring more reporters and stuff and people that can fill in on the nightly news more when I go out of town. But I'll also shoot news when I'm out of town so that it can then be uploaded and played on the nightly news. But I'm going to speak on the blueprint to defeat the New World Order. I'm doing a lot of codifying the information to really give a powerful presentation, and I hope you'll be there. Hope to see you there. Again, Dallas, Texas, the 19th. That's only like 16 days away, as you know, 17 days away. That's on a Sunday, and Orlando the Sunday after that. Infowars.com/events. I want to thank the great stations in both cities that are doing that. And you can find out more, again, at Infowars.com/events. I'm going to do 5 extra minutes just of overdrive here with Fritz. We can get to all your calls. Sergio in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, I just want to say real quick that I've been long time, well, not a long time, but the last few years, ever since George Bush Jr. got elected into president, kind of woken up after I seen the Bohemian Grove video. I just wanted to thank you for the work that you've been doing. And just to make a comment real quick, I did this like research project for a history class over here at the junior college, and what I ended up talking about in my paper was I cited this book called The Master Game by Robert S. DeRope. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but in the game, or not in the game, but in the book, they highlight like low games and high level games that the elites like to play in, and one of them is the Moloch game. And when I read like how they describe the Moloch game, it essentially sounds like exactly like the shock and awe report that the Bush administration put out before the actual shock and awe campaign. I was wondering if you guys knew anything about that.
Comments on that, Fritz?
Yeah, the principles behind shock and awe have been around for a long time. So they bring these things out every few years. And
all right, let's jam in another caller here as we go to break and end the official show. Well, the whole hour of retransmission's coming up, but I'm going to continue with Fritz. Tony in Pennsylvania, you're on the air.
How you doing, Alex?
Good. Almost out of time.
Okay. I just wanted to start out just saying that everything comes down to religion. I grew up with no religion at all in the home, and this research, every which way, comes back to it. Even with Albert Pike's book, Morals and Dogma, on the cover, Order Out of Chaos, looking up those words, order, one of the definitions is one of the 9 sex or choirs of angels, and you look up chaos, and one of the definitions is the bottomless pit, the abyss.
Order out of chaos.
And that's one of the definitions. Everything they do comes back to some kind of religion.
Amazing. Hey, I'm going to be back this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. with the Sunday Show. Back tonight. Making great points. Aaron Dykes, who we ought to have sit in one day and interview Fritz just came running in during the break earlier and said, oh, yeah, the black lodges, it's on record that all the main black leaders are members. Other black leaders have spoken out about it, and that they have a deal to serve the elite and basically keep black people under their control. And, I mean, they'll sell out for almost nothing, but that's how the globalists do it with everybody. And that fits in with what I saw, just very, 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 very bizarre. In fact, in a way, it's like the black lodges are even higher than some of the white lodges where they really think they're doing altruistic work. And I've seen really do defend the establishment and actively work against black people. And I think that's what the caller calling in earlier was saying. But side issue, I've digressed. Let's talk to Adam in Australia. You're on the air with Fritz Springmeier. Go ahead. Yes, Adam, from Australia.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Alex. I didn't realize I was on.
You're on.
So I've been trying to get through to you, and I apologize. This question is not for your guest. I need to say something to you. I have information that I must get to you. I've left a message on Rob's answering machine at your office. I must get you this information. I will pay thousands of dollars, literally, to be able to get this to you in a secure way.
Well, it's not the money. It's that, I mean, we don't have time. Everybody wants to try to get us a message. I mean, you have to tell us some of what it's about.
I can tell you there's two things. One, I have information which pertains to people, them doing rituals. My girlfriend has just had her friend killed by them. She's had her son kidnapped. And
they run the police and the CPS in most cities. I mean, they publicly rape children at military bases now to make parents talk. I mean, I understand, but I understand they probably control your local media, but you just need to do a YouTube and expose the whole thing. When you're afraid of them, they get off on it. When you have no fear of them, it absolutely freaks them out. But just get us an email, sir, with your basics, and we may try to get back in touch with you. It's just that we're getting 10,000 emails a day, no exaggeration. Fritz, from your research, don't they get off on the fear and terrorizing people?
Yes, you said it so well. I would strongly advise people, do not give in to your fears. Do not think about your fears. Whatever your fears are, that's what's going to manifest into your life. And they watch, and the demons, the Illuminati, the CIA, all of these groups, Mossad, they watch and see what your fears are, and then they work up nasty things in conjunction with what those fears are.
Yeah, and my fear is a failure in defeating the New World Order. Everything's in, my name, my family, my treasure, everything. It's in God's hands. And that's the end of it. You got to put yourself in God's hands and say, God, try to make me a good person. I'm a willing vessel. I want to serve good. I want to confront evil. And the more you face fear, the more you sacrifice. The blessings are just unbelievable. Fritz, is that not what you've discovered?
Sometime we might show the pyramid structure that I sent.
Yes, we'll put it on screen. It's been on screen. Go ahead.
Okay, and also I sent a picture of the Mother of Darkness castle. That relates to the Bloodlines book that we've been talking about. The people can read about the castle in the Bloodlines book. That happens to be the headquarters for the women's hierarchy branch, and very important, powerful castle. And I sent a picture of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Fritz, you've done an incredible job, but you're back on tomorrow night on the Nightly News, and we'll pick up where we left off.
Well, thank you.
You bet. And I'll put a Twitter out for people's questions, and I'll ask you some of their questions tomorrow night on the Friday edition. I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. I'll be back, obviously, tonight, Nightly News. And I will be back this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Great job, Fritz. I'll say bye to you here. And to the audience, great job. Sorry I didn't get to some of those calls, but I